Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Nova Lady, and today we are going to be talking about the documentary made by Connor Luke Simpson called Fat-Topia. I know this has been covered by a lot of YouTubers already, but I feel like I want to give my thoughts on it as someone who has done journalism before and has also sort of been a part of the fat acceptance movement, I guess you could say, but I'm just gonna try to get along with my opinions before I end up rambling. Essentially, it was an okay documentary, just it wasn't his fault that it couldn't have been as good as it could have, because obviously there were a lot of people who were not allowing him to interview them, which was kind of garbage. A lot of people, like, especially because it was a documentary, like, how many people do you think get paid to do interviews? Like, I don't know, I guess when Instagram influencers think they have more power than they do, it's kind of cringy, I guess you could say, especially because they were just, like, I think one of them was, like, actually demanding money from him. I don't know, it was just wilding. And that sort of made it flop a little bit more. I feel like if these women were willing to give him a chance that wasn't behind that black screen with that weird overlay over her voice, then it could have been so much better of a documentary piece. It was just interesting, you know? I mean, it really goes to show, like, how these women tend to view things and how unwilling a lot of them are to talk about it, except for that one girl who, like, was willing to talk about it. Like, shout out to her and, like, her honesty, and she just, she said her own truth and she just left it at that, like, she didn't shame him or anything. Like, that was amazing. But I guess it sort of does help the documentary in this case, because a lot of, oh my god, English please, Nova, a lot of people in the fat acceptance community cannot accept fact, and they don't want their shift of reality, of their utopia, to be changed, which he even stated when he was following fat acceptance movement influencers on Instagram. He sort of got into that mindset, that group mindset of believing that it was true, like health at every size, sure, it's, like, real, and he had to, like, step out of it a bit and, recollect himself. I'm pretty sure that was a part of the documentary. I don't know if it was as big as I, like, remember it being, but it was pretty big, and I think that was also kind of noteworthy because it also really pushes the documentary in the fact that fat acceptance is very big on group mentality and recruiting as many people as possible into your movement and shunning those who pose against you. But yeah, other than that, I think it was it Charlie Gold or was it Michelle McDaniel who said this? I think it was one of those women. They not like those women, but, like, you know what I mean. One of them stated that it sort of felt like a longer version of a YouTube video, sort of like a Shane Dawson style documentary. At least that's the vibe that I got, and I think that was what she was trying to say. And I sort of agree with that. It was very, it was just, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like it would have had a better platform here on YouTube than it would over on Amazon, but, it's a free documentary over there, so I guess, what's fair is fair. I did enjoy it because I feel like there aren't, maybe I'm not doing the research, but I feel like there aren't many documentaries about the fat acceptance movement from this sort of angle that isn't, oh, well, all bodies are good bodies, and stuff like that. Those are sort of, like, my, like, upfront opinions about it, and, like, obviously you're probably like, gee, why does your opinion matter? And I feel like my opinion matters because, like, a lot of people in their teenage youth looking for I'll say it, a clique to be a part of. I used to be a part of the body positivity fat acceptance movement. I'm not really anymore. I'm not fat phobic. I appreciate health, and I appreciate it being done the right way, the scientific way. I'm a aspiring nutritionist who's going to college, hopefully, for it in the fall. So I do have a lot of opinions on just fat acceptance in general. But yeah, I think I also enjoyed how oh my gosh, I need to collect my thoughts. I'm so sorry. I should have written a script. I'll leave that in the next video if I make one. What was I talking about? ADHD, I'm so sorry. Yeah, okay, I remember now. He was talking about, if I'm remembering correctly, how a lot of people were equating him being this white cis male to him being a kin of, like, I hope I'm remembering this right, because if I'm not, it's gonna be super embarrassing, like a neo-Nazi, and they were like, he shames bodies, and da-da-da-da-da-da. It was just, it wasn't okay. It was kind of dumb, but, I digress. So, I just feel like the fat acceptance and body positivity movement, they're so huge on like accepting everyone and like everyone's worth it and this, that, and the third. However, when it comes down to it, they really aren't accepting or non-judgmental of bodies that don't look like theirs. And I know that Michelle McDaniel was also discussing this. She's one of my favorite YouTubers right now. I've been watching like all of her videos, so I'm going to quote her or reference her a lot. I'll probably link her channel down below because I watch her so much. She said, oh wow, I completely forgot. Oh boy. The original fact of the body positive movement was to be for people who had things that they cannot control happen to their bodies. So burn victims, people who have lost limbs due to tragic accidents, etc., because they deserve to feel beautiful in their bodies because it's not their fault that they look the way they look. I'm probably going to have a deeper video on like my experience in the fat acceptance movement, but let me tell you, it was not super fun and funky fresh. But back to the documentary, I'm going to talk about what I did like about it. I actually really enjoyed how it felt very personal. It felt like he was real with us throughout the entire documentary. He showed us his struggles to get interviews, which, someone who has tried to get interviews with people before, the struggle is real and I completely understand it. It was just really nice to see a documentary actually highlight, hey, we're missing like this vital piece because people were being absolutely bananas and we couldn't get any. I also just liked his voice. I found him very like soothing to listen to, which is always helpful in a documentary. It's not something that you want to snooze to. I also liked the common theme back onto, because obviously the title of the documentary is Fat-Topia. It hit a common theme of back to that sort of internet utopia where everything is perfect all the time. Sonali, I can't pronounce her last name, so I'm not going to try because it's disrespectful in my opinion to butcher someone's surname. Sonali, she totally doesn't have, I think it looks like yeast or mold in her folds because, health at every size. It was, I don't know. I need to like stop like inserting my opinions on like that acceptance movement so I can have content for another video. But I'm on the sort of chain of where I want a Fat-Topia part 2 where maybe it's like a shorter version of the documentary where he tries to get the interviews with more and more people who will actually talk to him about it. Because I feel like, I don't know, it would have been so much stronger of a piece, and like he mentioned that, and I'm like, I can't get off of it. But other than that, I liked the production. I think it was gorgeous. I loved the general aesthetic of it. It also sort of focused on, I think it was respect at every weight, if I'm remembering correctly. If I'm getting this wrong, I'm very sorry. I watched a lot of stuff between then and now. But I think I'm going to end like the Fat-Topia comments here and just sort of dig in on like the nitpicky stuff of the fat acceptance movement and sort of what this documentary highlighted. I know that I've been saying it throughout the whole entire video, but like I just want to get it off my chest. These women love to hide behind this facade of the internet where everything is perfect all the time, and that is such a horrible mindset to be in. I don't care if being online suits your needs. We need actual people letting us know what's going on in real life. There's this huge difference between reality and the internet, and I feel like these women lose that reality, and I feel like social media empowers them too much. I don't want to comment on their situation because that's not my place. I have never been overweight. I'm not going to say I understand where they're coming from because I don't. I can empathize with it, but I've never been overweight. I'm never going to know what it's like to be overweight. But I do know what it's like to have a negative relationship with food and to use it to abuse my body without quite realizing it myself, and I feel like that's what these women were saying. I'm probably going to piggyback off of Michelle McDaniel because she mentions a lot of stuff that I don't catch because I'm not big into the fitness community for my own personal mental health. Trying to go on my own health journey. But she mentioned this, I can't remember what the nutritionist name was. If you're watching this, you probably know already. The nutritionist who like feeds her clients like donuts and shit as if that's food that's going to fuel you for a workout. Guess what? It's not. It's not how food works. Not all calories mean the same thing. That's a very, very disordered mindset, and I will preach that till the day I die. Not every calorie is equal because of the chemical makeup in that food. Thank you very much. Anyway, but it also highlighted how these women try to use every other minority in the book to get more people under their belt. Michelle McDaniel also mentioned this. when they're talking about body positivity, they include black women, and I can't, again, speak for that. I am Caucasian, I am whiter than they come, you know, Irish, you know how it is. But I do agree, because race isn't something that you can change. I don't know. I mean, I feel like people should have pride in their race, but, you know, just pride in themselves. But it gets very skewed with what they're doing, because once they stop attracting one group of people, they have to try to attract another group of people, and it's a very boom, boom, boom thing. But yeah, I probably sound like absolutely crazy. I'm so sorry. I decided to record this when I'm like sick, so sorry about that. But I think I want to sort of wrap up this video by saying that I did enjoy the Fat-Topia documentary. I think it was an excellent piece of work. I think it could have been better, but I hope I got his name right. I hope it's Connor Luke Simpson. That's the only name popping up. If he makes another documentary, I probably will be watching it, whether or not I have to pay for it, because I enjoy him, I guess, as a person, just because he was very real and very upfront about what he was trying to do. I feel like in general there aren't a lot of documentaries about this sort of new movement, unless, again, I just haven't been able to find them yet. So it was nice seeing that sort of covered, because I feel like it is such a new 2010 sort of era that's popping up. I think body positivity, or rather fat acceptance, has been around for a significant amount of time longer, but it hasn't been at the forefront so much as it is now, when it's influencing young women in their lives. I mean, Tessa, I don't know her last name, she's the plus size model that in the documentary, the actual plus size model was like spherical, is not a curve, and that made me laugh. I think, oh yeah, I should have mentioned that when he got that plus size model to discuss why Tessa, whatever her last name is not a plus size model, because there are no curves, it's just round, which I sort of agree with that, because I can't speak English today, I'm so sorry. I sort of agree with that, because you can't see the way that a garment would fit well on a body that does not look that extreme, because I'm sorry, not everyone is to that extreme. I don't think the mass public are to that extreme, because it is not healthy for your joints, blah blah bliggity blah. I feel like we've heard this 1,000 times before. I'm probably gonna make I feel like it's Tessa Thompson, I might be wrong though, but alliteration, you know, just stuff like that. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed that interview. I should have mentioned that earlier. That interview was super important, because it sort of showcases how being, you know, 15 to 30 pounds overweight really isn't anything, but the extreme is what's bad. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you want to subscribe, like, or comment, please feel free to do so down below. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm probably going to be making videos once a week, and they're probably going to be the same amount of commentary, or I might, like, just talk, you know. But thank you so much for having me and watching me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.